How's it going? It's Khoa here. In this video, we're going to be covering this awesome book called Objections by Blount. He is a sales trainer and he knows what he's talking about. He's got a lot of books on sales, and one of my favorite books is actually called Fanatical Prospecting, and I got a lot of value out of that book, and hence I bought this book. So this book, as you can tell by the title, it's called How to Handle Objections. So if you're thinking about how can I handle objections such as, I don't have time, or I don't have the budget, I need to talk to someone, I'm married, all those type of objections, right? This book will show you how to deal with it. So I've got a list of notes that I wrote from reading this book, and I'm going to go through it right now. So let's go check it out. Okay, so Objections by Mr. Blount. So number one thing is asking is the most important discipline in sales. So if you don't have the discipline in asking questions, then you're not going to become a great salesperson, because salespeople, we're getting rejected, we're getting cussed out, we're getting abused and everything. But the thing is, we have to ask. This is a sales career. This is a sales job. We have to ask for a meeting. We have to ask for the purchase. We have to ask for the contact details. We have to ask for the decision makers. It's all about asking. And if you can't ask, then you have to look for another job, because that's the thing. We're in sales, so we've got to ask. Page 6 has got a really great example of how to pitch. So in sales, asking is everything. If you fail to ask, you'll end up carrying a box full of stuff from your desk to your car on the way to the unemployment line. Your income will suffer, your career will suffer, your family will suffer, you will suffer. I love that quote, because if you don't ask, you're not going to get the sale. If you don't get the sale, you're going to lose your job and you're going to be in the unemployment line. So this is a really fantastic quote. So learn to ask. When you fail to ask, you fail. So when you are on the phone with someone and when they're throwing you objections, you have to ask them the question, why don't you have the budget? I know it's tough. It's hard. It's hard for you to say these type of things on the phone. You risk sounding rude. You risk sounding like a pushy salesperson. You risk blowing the deal, whatever it is, right? But you have to ask, okay? In sales, the only direct confident assumption to ask gets you what you want. That's the only way. This is sales. This is a sales career. This is a sales job. You have to be direct. You got to be confident. You got to be assumptive, okay? And you got to ask. It's the only way to get you what you want. If you don't ask, you're not going to get what you want. You're not getting what you want because you're not asking for what you want. Once again, you got to ask, okay? Now, the fear of rejection is the most treacherous, disruptive emotion for salespeople. So we all fear rejection, This goes back to the old caveman days. If you go out and leave the cave, you could be risking, getting eaten by a big bear, right? And that is subconsciously inside this thing in your brain called the amygdala gland. So the amygdala gland is this area of your brain that is all about the reptile type of needs, so the animal instincts, right? And it goes back to that fear of rejection. If you get rejected, you're going to die. And obviously, you're not going to die when someone says no, right? But this fear of rejection is deeply enrooted into our brains, and it's really disruptive as a salesperson. So you have to get over this. Your ability to handle and get past objection is where the rubber meets the road in sales. It's where the money is truly made. So you got to be able to get past these objections. You got to be able to handle these objections. And this is, if you can't handle this, then you're not cut out for sales. You got to be able to handle this. There are 4 types of objections: red herring, buying, micro commitment, and prospecting. So Jeb talks about this is how you can deal with it. So when people throw you objections, one of them could be the red herring. So the red herring, basically, it's like bait. I need to talk to the spouse. I need to talk to someone. I don't have a budget. It's just automatically, they're just throwing it out there. And what Jeb talks about is that sometimes they're just bait. They're just stalling. And you don't want to buy it, because if you buy those objections, then it will just leave you off the track. But really, they're just stalling, right? So this reminds me of what Grant Cardone says, is that you got to really test the objection. And he says that you can test the objection to see whether it's true or not by asking the question. But that's not going to stop you from going ahead now, would it? And if they say no, I guess not, then you move on, right? It's a beautiful way of just testing out whether that objection is really true, because if it is true, then you deal with it. If it's false, then don't waste your time on it, right? So watch out for those red herrings. Buying objections. So once again, it could be I'm not ready to buy. Micro commitments. So you got to get the micro commitment, and you got to do prospecting. Okay. So this goes into the the evolutionary parts of the salesperson's brain, everyone's brain, of course. So you've got 3 brains that's all connected to the amygdala. So inside the brain, you've got this reptile part of your brain called the amygdala. You've got 3 brains. It's all connected to this part called the amygdala. I highly recommend for you to check it out. I was reading up on this stuff years ago. It's really fascinating stuff. There's a big difference between objection, question, negotiation, and rejection. So when someone is objecting to something, you know, when someone is asking a question, you got to identify this is really a question, not an objection. A different type of question could be a negotiation. So how much is this going to cost? Now we're talking about negotiation. And rejection is a flat out, no, I'm not interested. Okay, so you really got to isolate which. There's a difference between all these type of questioning techniques. You can avoid this pain of rejection, or it can be far worse later, such as not being able to provide for family, missing your mortgage payment, working dead-end job, getting fired, failing to reach true potential, feeling regret. So, okay, there's another way of looking at it, is that if you avoid this pain of rejection, if you avoid picking up the phone and getting rejected, then there are far worse pains of that than not being able to provide for the family. I mean, what do you want? Do you want to be told no, you know, on a regular basis, or do you want to not have any income coming in where you can't afford to pay for food, mortgage, can't pay for put food on the table, you can't pay for your family, all those type of things? What's worse? I'd rather get the no's. Okay, it's so easy. So it's a no-brainer. So think about that. Rejection hurts. Let's face it. Rejection hurts. That's why people will tell you not to take it personally. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. People say, oh, don't take it personally, you know, but it doesn't work. You know, rejection. It does hurt. You know. It goes back to the caveman days of rejection means life or death. That was really good. The mindset that you should have. So when you choose a career in sales, you're signing up to seek out rejection. So remember, when you first signed up to sales, you're signing up to seeking out rejection. This is it. This is sales, okay? You're going to get rejected. There is no way around it. You're going to get rejected. Seeking out rejection is not natural for humans. So when people, we're not used to this stuff. We don't go out there and get rejected. We don't go out there to get no's. This is not normal. Okay, and as a salesperson, this is not normal. But you're in sales, so you got to go out there and get rejection. That's what a lot of people don't like sales, because you're going to get rejected. Okay, in sales, you get what you want. You might ask for what you want. Once again, you're going to ask for what you want, guys. Okay, when you ask for things, people are going to tell you no. Remember that. When you ask for something, I want this. I want a meeting with you. I just need 10 minutes. People are going to say no. All right, remember that. This is a different type of career where you're going to get a lot of no's. A lot of people don't want that. A lot of people can't ask for things. It's rude. A lot of people don't want to get rejected. But welcome to sales. Okay, you got to get that in your head. The prospect won't remember you when they hang up. They're just a blip in the day. So this came from his other book, Fanatical Prospecting. So when you pick up the phone, when you interrupt someone, they're gonna say no, and they're gonna hang up the phone. Don't take it personally. Okay, once again, but the thing is, they're not going to remember you when they hang up the phone. They're going to move on to something else, and you're just like a little interruption in the day. Have you ever been called by someone, a telemarketer, you hung up the phone, and then you move on to the next thing, you forgot about it? Okay, remember all those other telemarketers. I'm pretty sure you don't remember all those telemarketers who called you, but you know that happened. Okay, and that's the way it's happening to you. So help you get through this, right? Is that just say next. So what Jeb does is he's got a card that says next to it. So when he gets rejected, when things don't go well, looks at the card, next, and that's it. Move on to the next call. You know what you do? Make another call. Managing disruptive emotions is draining. Moving past the emotional hurdle of rejection requires tremendous amount of mental energy. Your mental energy is limited by physical resilience. So it's all about managing your emotions. In sales, managing your emotions is draining. You're trying not to get angry. You're trying not to yell at the person. You're trying to not cry in the bathroom. It's draining, man. It's draining. And you got to be managing this emotion. It's not only just emotional energy, it's also physical. That's the reason why I go to the gym. Go to the gym, maintain my energy, so therefore I can keep selling, okay? Staying fit, improving self-esteem, creative thinking, mental improve optimism. Once again, you got to stay fit. Stay fit, man. There are 5 stakeholders: buyers, amplifiers, seekers, influence, coaches. So it's called BASIC. Okay. Prospecting has always been about willingness to part with salesperson to interrupt. So this comes down to interruption. Okay. This is all about his other book, Fanatical Prospecting. One of the biggest things I learned in that book, Fanatical Prospecting, you have to be willing to interrupt people. Okay, sales is interrupting people. You will interrupt people. People are busy. People are in the middle of something. People are in the toilet. I've called up people. I can hear the echoing in the background. I know they're in the toilet. So therefore, make it quick. Make it where there's just yes or no, so that they can get back to just watching YouTube videos. Okay, that's the thing. You got to be willing to interrupt people. People will brush you off automatically, and it won't feel like rejection. When you accept a brush off, your brain lets you off the hook. Your self-hopes fit in. You don't cross the line where you push. You're kicked out of the cave. Okay. So people are going to brush you off, okay? And as a salesperson, you might be thinking, oh, okay, they said no, and then you think you lie to yourself saying, nah, it's a no, but you're pretty much putting yourself off the hook. Don't do that, okay? Don't do that. You got to keep pushing, okay? True objections. We did business with your company before and it didn't work out. Okay, that's a true one. 3 steps of prospecting. Okay, so here's 3 steps in which you can turn around objections. So your ledge, which is automatic response, giving you more time. So the ledge part is when they give you an objection, you want to have like this script where you automatically just buys you a bit more time. So automatically you just fire off this little script that you've already memorized. So I'm too busy. I totally understand. I know that you're busy. So that's a little ledge that just gives you a bit more time to just come up with the next response. Disrupt. Second part is disrupt. Disrupt their automatic pattern of giving out objections. So, you want to. They're used to giving out this script, and they're used to giving a typical response. They're receiving a typical response. So you want to disrupt that. Okay. So great if you're getting your correct prices. So that's the script that he does. And then you ask. You got to ask. Get what you want. Must ask for what you want. So I totally understand. Totally agree with that. I know that you're busy. Look, and I know that you don't have much time. So what I will do is I'll just organize a time with you, sometime this week or next week. Just to go over, just to make sure I'm not wasting time. Does that sound fair enough? Fine. Okay. So I've asked there, and that's it. Yes has a number. Oh, this is a fantastic quote here. So if you want to get a yes when it comes to prospecting, right, you got to have a lot of no's. So how many no's are you going to be getting in order to get a yes? Okay, you can't get a yes from picking up the phone, calling someone straight away. Sometimes it might happen, but most of the time it'll be about 7 times you get a no, then you get a yes, or 10 times, 20 times, 100 times. But yes has a number. Always remember that. If you want to get someone to agree to a meeting, how many no's are you willing to go through to get that yes? Okay. Probabilities are ultra high performing sales professionals playing the game of sales. So it's all a numbers game. It's all a probability game. Okay. They work relentlessly to bend the yes number in their favor. In sales, the formula for winning and winning big is reducing your chance of getting no, while increasing the probability of getting yes without decreasing the number of times you ask. Jim is awesome. He's really cracked the code. Professional salespeople, ultra salespeople, right? They are relentless. They are relentless, right? And they bend the number of yeses in their favor, okay? So it's all about the numbers, and it's all about how many no's can I get to get the yeses. If I got 10 no's today, can I make it 9 no's today? Can I make it 7 no's? That's how they think. Sales is governed by numbers. Remember that. Okay, in order to sell, it's not about just a pitch and everything. It's all about numbers. How many calls did you do today? How many prospects did you talk to today? How many objections did you got? It's all about numbers, and from there you get a clear picture of your ratios. So this is how you can do it. You need to get a clear picture of your ratios, which is finding out what your MQLs are, which is your marketing qualified leads. How many of those leads were qualified in your sales? Okay, how many outbound attempts did you do? How many contacts did you convert to appointments? How many appointments went to the next step? And next step to formal presentations. How many presentations did you do? How many proposals went to closed deals? And how many closed deals to deal outcome size? Okay, this is it. This is all you need to do. Track those numbers, track those ratios. Okay, all right. So there's a lot of issues. So there's only 2 common sales issues, which is insufficient prospecting. You're not prospecting enough. Okay, not getting enough people in your pipeline. And there's prospect congestion, which is not getting enough out of that pipeline. So if you're not prospecting, if you're not doing your 2-hour prospecting blocks per morning every day, then you're not getting enough people in your pipeline. Okay, now if you're not getting enough deals in the pipeline, then there's some sort of congestion there. Okay, so you need to figure that stuff out. There's only 2 things. Okay, always ask for and how to nail the next step. Extra every call that you make, everything that you do, make sure you're getting nailed down the next step. You don't wait for the next person. Make sure, I need to get that proposal out to you. Can I get a response for you by tomorrow? Yes, I can. Can I get a meeting with you next week? Yes, I can. Always ask, always get the next step. Don't wait, don't let them make a decision. You're guiding them. You're the salesman. Let's do it, man. Okay? It's your job to keep the ball rolling, and you should never expect your prospect to do for you. Never leave a conversation with a stakeholder without the next firm step. You got to do it. You got to make these micro commitments. You got to make them committed to you. If I send you this proposal, will you get this back to me by the end of tomorrow? Sure, done. Okay, get them to commit. Okay, ultra high performing salespeople are fanatical prospectors. Goes back to prospecting. You got to prospect every single day. Okay. Sad people on the deathbeds are filled with regret for not finding the courage to pursue dreams or put their talents to work. So you don't want to be the guy on this deathbed, to be regretting the things that you didn't do. Don't be like that. Okay, if you're in this thing called sales and you're not fulfilled in it, don't do it. But if you really want to be great at sales, go to the max. Put your talents to work. Go to the max. And in closing, what Jeb Blount said, the last mantra that he recommends you to say is this: starting today, I will no longer allow rejection to control me or my actions. I will take responsibility for my own life. I will set my own course. I will make my own success. I will take action. I will persist. I will ask confidently for what I want. I will find lessons in rejection. I will embrace it. I will allow it to fuel my ambition. I will look forward to it, not backward. I will turn my haters into motivators. I will be empowered by my circumstances, not impeded by them. I will do the things others are unwilling to do. I will make no more excuses. Rejection no longer owns me. This is my Independence Day. I will rise. Rejection no longer owns me. This is my Independence Day. I will rise. Okay, so that's it. That's it for Jeb Blount's Objections. Okay, this is a great book. It shows you his short framework in handling objections, the different mindset involved in dealing with rejection and objections, and how you can easily overcome a lot of the typical objections. Okay, so there is a bit of warning at the start of the book. It's not a book full of scripts where this is what you say to get over that objection. It's all about mindset, and I think that's really important, because you got to get the mindset right in order for you to deal with objection. Because if you're just memorizing scripts, then it's going to sound too mechanical, and they're just going to hang up the phone. So I think this is a really great book. Go check it out. Jeb Blount, he's got some other amazing books. Highly recommend for you to check out my other book, review by Jeb Blount. It's called Fanatical Prospecting. Highly recommend it. So if you like this book review, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel. You know what to do, and I will see you guys in the next one. Cheers.